Truly, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise. So we're moving from the big prayer for forgiveness that we looked at last week to this incredibly quiet, private moment. Two dying men having a conversation. There's something so raw about this exchange of words.
It's a massive shift in scale, isn't it? We go from this cosmic courtroom kind of conversation to a very hospice room atmosphere, even though the room is a hill for execution.
Exactly. And honestly, the emotional relief of this verse is what usually gets me. You have this criminal, this thief on the cross, who is at the absolute end of his rope. No time left to fix his life, no time to get religion, no time to do a single good deed. He's just out of options. And Jesus just wipes the slate clean with 10 words.
Mm-hmm. It's the ultimate theological scandal. If you grew up thinking that you had to earn your way into God's graces, this verse is a total wrecking ball to that.
It really is a total wrecking ball. I mean, think about the emotional state of the thief. He spent his whole life probably being told he's worthless. He's being mocked by the other criminal on the third cross, and the man is in agony. And then he looks at Jesus and says, "Remember me." Not save me, not get me down, just don't forget that I existed.
Yeah. And that's where the theology gets really interesting. Let's look at what the thief actually says. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Now that is a massive statement of faith. He's looking at a man who is currently bleeding to death and calling him a king. He sees a crown where everybody else sees failure.
I guess knowing you are in your final hours can give you a different perspective on your situation. But let's talk about the response. Jesus says, "Truly I tell you today," that today feels so urgent. It's not once you pass the entrance exam, it's today you will be with me in paradise.
Yeah, that today is a theological landmine, if you will. In some traditions, there's this idea of a long waiting period or a middle ground before one reaches paradise. But Jesus uses the word simurin, today. That's an immediate transfer. The moment his heart stops on earth, his today continues in paradise. And it indicates that the bridge between guilty and welcomed isn't a long road of effort and struggle. It's a single step of faith.
Yeah. But I got to tell you, Jeff, it's also a bit of a last-minute win, isn't it? I sometimes think about all the good people in the crowd who had followed all the rules their entire life, watching this criminal get a VIP pass to paradise at the final buzzer. It seems wrong if you have a rigid sense of fairness.
Oh, it's totally unfair. And that's the definition of grace. If it were fair, the thief wouldn't have a chance. And that's the beauty of the word paradise. In the original context, the word referred to a walled garden or a king's private park, which is interesting. It's an invitation into intimacy. Jesus wasn't just saying, you won't go to hell. He was saying, you're coming into my house.
coming into my house. That's an emotional hook for me. The idea that no matter how messy the story of our life has been, the ending can be written in a single breath. It takes the pressure off. I think we can look at this season of Lent as a time to fix ourselves so we're worthy of Easter. But the truth is, we're never worthy of Easter or salvation. That gift comes from God's grace. And Jesus is over here saying, hey, I can do a whole lot with remember me.
Mm-hmm. It really does highlight sola gratia, which is grace alone. There is zero merit in the thief. He's literally nailed down. He can't even lift a finger to help his neighbor. He can only offer his belief. Theologically, the verse is the death of legalism and works righteousness. It proves that the door of the kingdom is opened from the inside by the king, not from the outside by those of us that are knocking.
Ah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've often wondered if they kept eye contact after that exchange of words. I like to think that for the rest of those grueling hours on the cross, that thief just held on tight to the word paradise, like a mental escape. The nails were still there, the pain was still there, but maybe, just maybe, the fear was gone.
And that's the power of a promise. It changes your present reality even if your circumstances haven't changed. The thief was still on the cross, but he was already in the kingdom.
You know, if I think about that for a bit, it makes me think about who I might have written off. We all have people in our lives, and maybe it's ourselves, where we think it's too late. The damage is done. This life is wasted. And this verse just stands there, and we can hear God saying, nope, don't write them off. I do my best work at 11:59 p.m.
Right? That's a hopeful thought to carry into the week, but it's also a challenge. If Jesus is that quick to welcome a thief, how slow am I to welcome the people who have wasted their chances with me?
Ouch.
Yeah.
I said, ouch. That grace that I offer is often pretty cheap, I believe.
Yeah. And we all have a tendency to keep score of offenses in our life. But think about the proximity of Jesus' words. You will be with me in paradise. The reward isn't just the garden, it's the gardener.
With me. Yeah, that's enough. Even if our today feels like a long way off, knowing the with me is settled, that we'll be with Jesus. That brings peace of mind, and that's a good way to spend this week of Lent.
And let's all sit with that. God's sheer, unearned, today kind of grace.
I'm in. But I'm still glad that I'm not the one who has to explain the fairness of Jesus' promises
Oh, don't worry.
to the theologians.
Yeah, don't worry. They've been arguing about that for 2,000 years. And I think Jesus is fine with that mystery.
Faith is a mystery. We don't often always understand everything about faith, but we can trust God.